And we have the Attorney General here, too. Folks, Aaron and state and local tribal leaders are here. Would the tribal leaders stand up? Because I don't know how many are here. Because there you go. Chief, good to see you, man.
We have a lot of big news. Many economists are warning about several other provisions that the Biden administration has proposed. Some have even said that this could lead to a 20% benefit cut to Social Security within a decade. Now, there are several other ways that this bill can affect you. And now Joe Biden and the White House have promised not to touch Social Security in their battle over cutting spending to address the nation's debt ceiling crisis. And while that vow was intended to indicate support of the popular entitlement program, it could lead to a financial disaster. Senior citizens and other recipients could see the benefits slashed by at least 20% within a decade. The latest Congressional Budget Office projection found that Social Security's retirement trust fund would be exhausted by 2032. At an event last month, a director said there's a sense in which doing nothing does not preserve Social Security, but affects the benefits that are not being able to paid out to you. Social Security has long been on shaky financial ground. As the population ages, there are fewer workers paying into the program and supporting the ballooning number of beneficiaries who are also living longer. In all, nearly 66 million retired workers, their dependents and survivors, disabled workers, and their dependents receive monthly payments. Forecasts on when Social Security's retirement and disability trust funds may be depleted differ by a few years. Social Security's trustees last year picked a date at 2025 if Congress does act. However, the entitlement program is also one of the third rails of the American politics, so elected officials are not hesitant to suggest any changes that could lead to benefit cuts. And the Director of Fiscal Policy has said, pretending this is not a problem, that this isn't a current law, is dishonest. A number of policymakers are making this choice, and it is a major financial risk to the retirement benefits of tens of millions of Americans. The last time Congress enacted a major overhaul in 1983, Social Security was only months away from being fully payable to benefits, and at that time, Democratic lawmakers who controlled the House agreed with Senate Republicans and Ronald Reagan to increase payroll taxes and gradually raise the normal retirement age from 65 to 67, among other reforms. And while Biden has promised to strengthen Social Security and defend it from any cuts, he has yet to lay out his provision for protecting this program. Now, there are several ways to put Social Security in more solid financial footing, though each has its own opponents on Capitol Hill, so it makes it a little more difficult for things to get passed, for things to get approved. But there's still a possibility this can happen. In a statement, Social Security Acting Commissioner said the budget's key investment will focus on improving service at the SSA, modernizing the agency's information technology, and improving the program for which this is going to occur. But some say it's unlikely that anything will be done near term, in part because of the current lack of bipartisanship in Washington. In a statement, Social Security Acting Commissioner said the budget's key investment will focus on improving service at the SSA.
A couple years ago, and the Feist, and the Secret Service is in a box and next to us anyway. And there's a fight breaks out, and my wife, who hates violence, goes, "Hit him, get him!" Here, jumping up. The Secret Service looking, where the heck did that come from? But anyway, thank you, Kamala. Thank you very much. You guys don't have to stand up here. Come on, why don't you go? You've been a leader in this issue for a long time because you know how much it matters. Mayor Jim Kennedy, thank for the passport back into the city, man. You know, for years and years, when Delaware didn't have its own television station before everything was Philadelphia, I was as popular in Philly as
Biden is now holding meetings with top lawmakers from both parties to discuss the next fourth stimulus package. The administration is also removing a few provisions from the new social spending bill, but this change could affect many Social Security recipients. Social Security provides benefits to seniors across a wide range of income levels. In fact, it's possible to have a $3 million income in retirement, but still collect Social Security. But some lawmakers may be looking to change that by imposing a system of means testing for Social Security purposes. Here's how that would work. Social Security is facing a serious financial shortfall in the not-so-distant future. Recently, its trustees projected that the program's trust funds will be out of money by 2035. Once that happens, benefit cuts will be a distinct possibility unless lawmakers manage to find a way to pump more money into Social Security. One such option to achieve that goal is means testing. Means testing is the concept of distributing benefits to retirees based on your needs. Now, there are different ways that means testing could play out. Lawmakers could decide that seniors above a certain income level might see their Social Security benefits reduced, or they might decide that higher earning seniors cannot receive Social Security at all. Social Security cannot sustain benefits at their current level if lawmakers don't find a way to address its anticipated financial shortfall. Means testing and reducing benefits for higher earners is one solution that could help solve the issue at least to some degree, but it's not the one that likely is going to be sitting well with people. And now President Biden's American Rescue Plan is perhaps the most significant legislative accomplishment in his first year and a half in office. The sweeping $1.9 trillion crisis relief bill was also at the center of debate over inflation. The White House maintains that the bill was essential to ushering in the economic recovery, and Biden recently dismissed the notion that his relief plan fueled increases in prices. In fact, economists concede that the $2 trillion bill did contribute to inflation. The crisis-related supply chain issues are major factors driving up cost. The former president also did sign 2 crisis relief bills into law, but many Americans are still waiting through their excess savings from the crisis lockdowns that saw people lose homes and spend less. Jason Furman, who served as the chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, said that Americans spent some $800 billion less than normal during the crisis. And a chief economist at an analytic company estimated this week that the rescue package added around 0.1 percentage points to year-over-year inflation, well behind stocks, and caused the crisis and affordable housing crisis back then. The partisan blame game over inflation has intensified as costs and particularly gas prices have continued to rise, despite the Federal Reserve and top White House officials insisting late last year that inflation would be transitory. Recently, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen acknowledged in an interview with CNN that she misjudged the path that inflation would take, citing unforeseen shocks to the economy. But Yellen has also defended the rescue package, which passed in March 2021 with no Republican votes, noting as have other administration officials that inflation is a global problem. Yellen stated that we're seeing high inflation in almost every developed country around the world, and they have very
freezing spending is probably not a good idea, except we just had a flood that cost $1 billion worth of damage in southern Montana. $1 billion what's projected. We freeze spending, that infrastructure never gets rebuilt. So I hear what you're saying, and in some aspects I agree, but it's a lot easier to talk about than it is to do. And I think that's the challenge that the chairman of the Fed has, is that he really needs to focus on what he needs to do. And if it was a simple solution, we'd already had it done. I'm concerned about rural America and the impact inflation's having on rural America. And I know that